Today we are discussing Men Tell All from Rachel's season of The Bachelorette. I love tell-all episodes. You guys know this by now. I like seeing how people process what they've seen of themselves and what choices they choose to make with that information, especially knowing how America reacts to them. So I always love tell-all episodes, and this one, wow, did it not disappoint. And here's the thing, from the get-go, I thought it was going to be a pretty, I know it sounds really naive, I thought it was going to be a tame tell-all. When Chris Harrison described this as like more of a frat house than usual, I didn't actually agree with that. I thought that the fights or the conflicts had in the house were, more warranted. Like, I could understand why people rubbed each other the wrong way, or like why people would be upset with Lee, or like it just didn't seem like just like personalities clashing. It seemed like there was like needling, and so you could understand why people would be upset. So I did not see it as like a really like fratty bunch of guys, but then this became like the most argumentative Men Tell All ever, and so what do I know? I did like the little most memorable moments segment at the beginning. I thought that was a nice touch. Okay, Lucas and Blake. First of all, Blake's haircut was a massive improvement. At a glance, when they were like just panning over the guys, I literally thought he was Brady, the model guy. It's just his hair looks so different. He looked like a different human. He looked really good. Which was not a diss. He didn't look bad before, but it was an improvement. Unsurprisingly, Lucas was a total loudmouth. I actually really wish he had played this differently and come back and just been, like, just not done the waboom and just been a little more like, yeah, I was sincere, I went about it the wrong way, yeah, what are you gonna do? And he was like, you're a loudmouth, waboom, waboom. It was just like, dude, it obviously doesn't work, so come up with a new shtick. DeMario and Lexi, DeMario. I have to say he's hilarious. I thought I was laughing a lot at what things DeMario was saying. I have to say Andy called the side chick thing way back when. Obviously she wasn't, his girlfriend. He did make a good point about the photos, that there were none. I actually thought, I wasn't sure what stance he was going to take, and I do believe that this to be the case. I think he maybe downplayed it a little too much, but it was, I have to say, I think he was being the most honest now. I think he was being less honest back then, and now he was being honest about it. Kenny and Lee. Okay, I feel like the entire segment with Kenny and Lee can be summed up with one thing Dean said. It was like the complete mic drop moment of the episode, which was, Kenny might have been the most well-liked person in the house, and then that just sort of sums up, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, and I agree with that. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. I've been saying that for years, and it's just obvious that, everyone had their misgivings about Lee, and everyone loved Kenny, so that's all you need to know. Then the racism thing came in. My issue with Lee on this is that he got so many extremely specific questions. Like people, for example, Kenny saying, if you didn't get caught, would you still be sorry? Or Iggy saying, you say that wasn't your intention to hurt people. What was your intention? Like, they would ask specific things, and he just never said anything. He said, oh, I should have been a better friend, or if I hurt anyone for a bad joke or anything, I apologize. That's not answering the questions, and I felt like he thought he could go there and be the bad actor that he was on the show and be like a smooth talking person and just sort of get away with it. And I liked that he was raked over the coals. I thought him going back was probably not in his best interest, because I don't think there is redemption for him. And I think he did the best he could. They hugged it out at the end. He got through it. I'll give him that. But I don't think that I still don't feel it was sincere. I think he went there to mend his image, and I would feel differently if he had been more forthcoming with just admitting fault from the get-go and not sort of being like, if I hurt anyone, I apologize. If he had right from the get-go been like, yes, that tweet, I could totally see why you'd be offended by that. It's, yeah, like I've come a long way, like from the get-go, but it just felt like it was like pulling teeth to get him to admit any fault and not just be like too smooth. So, I'm still not a Lee fan. I'm sorry. He got through it. Good for him. Yes, and Charlotte said I was so impressed with Anthony. Yes, Anthony was just, he's not much of a talker, but when he says something, it's like gold. He was excellent. Dean, I like that he admitted that he gave producers his dad's cell number. So a lot of people, especially over at All the Pretty Pandas, were really shitting all over the show for his hometown, thinking it was so manipulated. They had created this situation, and it was obviously a delicate family situation. How could they do that? And no one can make anyone do something they don't want to do on this show. You don't have to provide your parents' phone number. The father did not have to say yes. There have been hometowns with just friends before. So I like that he admitted on national television that he gave the producers his dad's cell number. I thought that was a slight breaking of the fourth wall. I liked that. Okay, so I'm going to get over to questions now. At Hey Jen Berry asked, what do you think about Dean's apparent lack of enthusiasm for Bachelor in Paradise that so many viewers picked up on? I confess I did not pick up on this. I saw it as just Dean being a little, he plays down. Like, I could see he's just like, yeah, I'll be on Paradise. Like, I feel like that's the same way he would act about many things. I think he is a reasonable and intelligent person, and he recognized that Paradise, is Bachelor in Paradise, and it's a bit of a joke in some ways, and maybe that's why he was downplaying it, but I don't feel like something horrible happened. I mean, obviously we know something, that a lot happened on Paradise, but I didn't get the impression that it was related to him. It was more just like, yeah, Paradise. That's just my take on it. At Lola Hensley asks, what do you think of Lee's apology? It's a two-part question. Also, why did Fred rehearse his speech to Rachel? Seemed unnatural and weird. I already answered the thing about Lee's apology. I think that Lee's issues are deeply ingrained, and I think it's good that he could, admitted that in the end, but it would have been more, carried more weight for me if it had come out in the beginning. And for Fred's speech, yeah, I agree. I felt that it felt rehearsed. It felt like now's the time. He didn't say anything else, which I respect. I respect that he chose his time wisely. I don't buy it. Like, you're telling me that since you're a kid and this girl is a couple years older than you, you've had a crush on her for the last, 20 years or 15, 20 years. I think that it's a nice story, but I just don't buy it. They live in the same city, I think. Like, if you had it for her so bad all these years, why didn't you just contact her before she became Bachelorette? I think if the roles were reversed, everyone would be raising an eyebrow at the girl for doing that, and so I don't think we should treat him any differently. Last question. Isabella asks, hi Sharleen, if Rachel ends up picking Brian in the end, do you think that his portrayal on the show and the filmed reception of him by Rachel's family would affect their relationship post-show too much in a negative way? What's your take on that? Great question. If Brian seemed less confident and self-assured, I would be concerned, but he just seems so not jealous or insecure in any way. I don't know, there's something about them that I totally buy. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this. I think that he can handle it, which is a good thing, because I do think that his portrayal has been a little less than flattering. I'm amazed at how many people don't like Brian. So yeah. Okay, that's it for Men Tell All. Be sure to check out my Flair recap, which will come later in the day, and my All the Pretty... Oh, no, I will not be... This is my week off for All the Pretty Pandas. I don't do Pretty Pandas recaps for Tell All episodes. And so, yeah, be sure to check out the Flair one, and thank you for tuning in to The Morning After. And I'll see you next week. Bye.